guys, it's Annie and today I want to do more of like a chit-chatty video and basically talk about my disposable cameras, disposable film cameras. So these two are the ones I'm currently using, but previous to this I've also used another one of this KODAK Fun Savers and then also one that's by FUJIFILM. It's the green one that looks like this. I'm gonna put it here. Yeah, so today I just want to talk about my experiences and some tips that I've gathered over the past 2 years that I've been using these, and yeah, show you some photos that I've taken as well. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing is how to use these cameras. It's actually very simple to use these cameras. Basically, it's about 3 steps, and with these KODAK ones, it tells you the instructions. And usually, no matter what type you come across, it's basically the same steps. So basically, first you want to wind this dial to the very end, and you'll hear like a clicky sound, that kind of sound. I've heard that some people like to wind it all the way to the end, so they can be prepared for the next photo they want to take. They can just take it out and immediately take the photo. But I've also heard people where they don't like doing that, because if you've winded this and you put it in your bag, and you have like a lot of things in your bag that can maybe like touch this button, which is to take the photo, then you might accidentally take a photo in your bag, for example, that you didn't want. So that is also a risk of doing that. But I think it doesn't take too long to just, you know, wind this up, and when you want to take the photo, and then press the flashlight, hold it down, and you'll see this red button turn on. Just give it a few seconds for it to load, and then look through this viewfinder. So right there, you'll see out of, and then click the top button right here to take the photo, and it's as simple as that. Okay, so this one, my initial experience with this was pretty alright, but I've gathered a few tips about them. And the first one being that, like, with the flash, so this flash is a little bit hard to deal with compared to the Fuji one, which is just a switch and you turn it up or down. But this one, if you can see right there, there's a flash looking symbol, and you have to press down onto it, and you'll hear it click, like that sound. Yeah, basically when you have to hold it down, and this light will start to build up like brighter and brighter, and you generally have to hold it for a while until you see that this redness here. See how it's getting more bright now? Yeah, so that basically means it's fully loaded. The flash is fully loaded. If you just like press it like one time and then immediately take the photo, then a lot of the times the flash is not ready yet, so you might not get as bright of a photo as you expect. And sometimes the photo will be, if you're like taking a photo at night, you might not capture the like the people or the view that you wanted to capture. Yeah, so even if you're indoors sometimes, always try to use flash unless you have a super well lit up room. So for example, when I was experimenting with the camera, I got photos developed that were more like of a grainy grey tone. So these ones, I could actually still see my friends in them, but there were a few that came with this film that I just couldn't make out any of the people in there. With this one, it's very, very difficult to see who's actually in the photo, and cases like this do happen with film cameras, especially because there's no second take of a photo, or it's just, you know, it's just kind of in the moment thing. So you do have to prepare yourself when you're developing these or taking these photos that some of them might not turn out how you expect them to. And in the dark, I had a really good experience with the Fuji camera. This one was taken completely in dark. It turned out really well. It captured all the people really nicely, and so basically a tip with taking photos in the dark with flash on is that you want to make sure the distance is enough for the flash to cover everyone's face. So for example, this photo that I took behind everyone, as you can see, it's basically just their backs and they're just walking in front of me, but because I think I was standing a little bit too far away, the flash didn't really catch onto them, and basically it became a lot blurrier than this photo, where I think the distance was a lot closer. So it'll generally say on the camera, for example, on the Kodak one at the back, it says between 4 feet and 11.5 feet, or 1.2 meters to 3.5 meters. And that's the suggested distance when you want to take a flash photo. So you just want to check what the camera you're using says for distance. Okay, so in terms of taking mirror selfies, the advice is to probably not take a flash photo. Basically, in this one, I turned the flash on, and then this one, there was no flash. So the result was basically, with flash, it kind of reflects off the mirror, and it covers a lot of, like, the people, I guess. And in comparison to this one, everything was clear, didn't need flash, but it still captured everything nicely. The only thing I would say though is this one was outdoors in broad daylight, so I think that might be why the lighting wasn't much of an issue. But this one was indoors, and the overall lighting inside was also a little bit dark, which I think is why I wanted to turn flash on. But as you can see, a lot is covered, so that's the only downside of it. But regardless, I think this is still pretty cute. Like, it's pretty candid, so it's all just part of the experience of taking the photos and getting to look at it only maybe months later, perhaps. So yeah, that's the joy of taking film photos. Okay, so the next thing that I just want to really quickly touch on is basically, with any of these film cameras, because they're so small and compact, it's really easy for your fingers to like get in the way of like the lens, the camera. And when that happens, you'll basically just get like a corner of your finger in the photo, which it's not that bad, like, you know, it's candid, I guess, but in certain cases, like, you just really don't want to see like a corner of your finger in the photo. So that's just one really quick thing to touch on. Yeah, so just keep in mind when you're taking the photo to always just like move your finger a little bit to the side, and then you'll be all good. Okay, so the next thing is, I guess, just with the comparison between this one and the other Fuji one that I'm going to talk about in a second. So the Kodak one has a very warm kind of yellow tone to the photos. So with these photos that I was experimenting with my friends at her birthday, they have more of like a yellow tone, especially with this photo. I'm not sure if it's the Australian environment, but it does turn out a little bit yellow. And this one as well, just slightly. Okay, so moving on to the FUJIFILM disposable. With the photos that I got from this camera, they did have a lot more of a green tone that I realized compared to the Kodak, which I can do a little comparison. But this was out on a bright day. You can see that everything is a little bit more bluey and greeny, especially in the darker areas, in comparison to this photo that was taken on the Kodak. It just looks a little bit more yellowy, even with the grass and the trees here, in comparison to like this darker shadowy area. Again, emphasis on the green. As you can see, the trees are a lot more brighter than, say, the buildings, and just like an overall green tone to it, which I actually really like, because when I was first getting into the disposables and choosing between the Fuji and the Kodak, I first bought the Kodak because I heard a lot more better reviews with this one. But in terms of what actually came out when I experimented with both of them, I actually really enjoyed the green tones that I got with my photos. It is my first time getting this one or any underwater film camera, so I don't exactly know how these photos will turn out, but when I do finish, because it is going into summer season in Australia, I am really excited to take this to the beach and take some beach photos with this and see how that turns out. Yeah, so that's like one of the reasons why I bought this. But yeah, I'm excited to try this one, and maybe I'll make another video when I get these photos developed when I'm done. Okay, so I first started my film photo experience with the Kodak Fun Saver, which is this one here. And this in Sydney, I originally bought it from Kmart, but a lot of the times they are out of stock, or it's a bit hard to get sometimes. But you can get it at Camera House or Ted's Cameras, but generally a lot of the places that do sell like camera accessories or stuff like that do have this camera there. And this, if I remember correctly, cost around $20, 21-ish Australian dollars. And yeah, it is a little bit pricey, but this is around the same price as the Fujifilm one, so this is just generally the cost for a disposable camera. And to get these developed as well, it cost another $20 to $25 depending on where you get it from. But where I get it from is just Camera House in Sydney, so this place right there. And I haven't had much of an issue with them, and generally it takes about 1 week for me to get these photos, for them to develop as well. So I normally just go there. So yeah, I think that's basically everything I wanted to talk about today. If there's any questions you still have, feel free to comment down below and I'll try to help you out. But I'm not a film expert at all. I'm pretty much just an enthusiast, or at least I try to be. And yeah, I'll try my best to help you guys out. And I think that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!